as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian Police Force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but you can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the show on Planet Radio 101.1 FM and Spectrum TV, channel 136 Star Times. This is Legally Speaking. My name is Anthony. I'm a legal practitioner with Law Partners and Associates. Today on the program, we'll be talking on guarantee, the law of contracts of guarantee. Over time, we have realized that Nigerians don't understand the difference between a letter of guarantee and a letter of reference or recommendation. So on today's show, we will dwell extensively on that in the bid to try to make sense of the whole transaction. All right, I have with me in the studio to discuss this and other topics that will be coming up on the show. Ekemudem is on my far left. Ekemudem is a legal practitioner with Justice Chambers. Ekemudem, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Tony. Good evening to everybody.
All right, I have an education specialist. Are you a specialist? Hannah is a teacher, and Hannah, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good evening, listeners and viewers.
All right, before we go to the main topic for discussion, we will start with the facts, the recent news that the All Progressive Congress had picked their nomination forms for the presidential election at 100 million naira. And the first thing that came to the mind of some of us lawyers was, is that legal? Would you want, that's a very, would I say, demonic amount to pay to buy forms, just forms to contest election, 100 billion naira. So, is that a legal amount to pay?
The money is going to be paid with the legal tender of Nigeria. Therefore, it's legal. Yeah, but that's just on the lighter note. Does the political party have the right in law to decide on what its members, should pay for purpose of purchase of form, an expression of interest? Yes, they have the right, because part of the consequences of registration of a political party is that it gives the political party the power to organize election, to galvanize its members for purpose of participating at the general election, and so they have the right to sell forms. But it appears to me, and it also appears to most Nigerians, that 100 million naira for the form for the office of president and 50 million naira for the office of governor is on the high side.
All right.
It's quite excessive.
It's quite excessive for those of us that don't have money. So, Hannah, what's your opinion on the amounts pegged for contesting elections to the highest office of the land?
It's high because if I nurse such ambition, that would mean that I should forget about it. But I guess it's also to sift the goods from the sheep. If you're poor, don't think of coming up. But looking at it another way, it means if you're serious, you can get supporters to join and give you money to buy the form. Yeah.
All right.
It's high, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. I was bothered initially because I know Electoral Act 2010 had picked the amount of money each candidate may have to spend for the campaigns. And to my mind, buying the form is part of the money you spend for your campaign. But looking at the current provision of the law, I think the president is allowed to spend as much as 5 billion to campaign for the office that you earn at best 12 million per annum by 4 years. Yes,
You
because
go
you have
for
to.
the- you go for
No,
second
but at
term,
least it's a
there's
first
room
term. You are
for
contesting
going
for the
second
first term.
term,
So 8 million a year by that is about 50 something million. So you are expected to spend as much as 5 billion naira to contest for that office. So there's something we don't know about that office. So okay, I think we should make plans to get in there and see what's in that secret room.
Yeah, it's good to make plans to get in there. And after all, we're qualified.
You're not sounding optimistic.
No.
Everybody is not going to make plans. I mean, the office of a governor is just one position, and somebody occupies it for 4 years. So everybody cannot.
If you're strong enough,
why-
you can push him out in 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
How many of them have been pushed out in 4 years?
I think there was a good luck, Jonathan.
No,
I'm not sure if that's the only
you know,
person.
it's Jonathan. How many people allow themselves to be pushed out like Jonathan was pushed out?
Oh, you allow yourself to be pushed
Yeah,
out.
a lot of people say he allowed himself in the sense that he did not do much, you know, to
hold on to the reign of power by force.
To sustain the love of the people, to vote
All
for
right,
him as a result of performance and all that and so on.
I get that.
But you see, you talked about making plans to also vie for that office. It's not a bad dream for you. You are qualified by age, by educational qualification. I hope you know that the office of the President of Nigeria is about the only office in the world that you don't need a certificate. You just need to attempt.
All you need is 100 million.
No, all you need, in fact, 100 million is it's a stronger criteria than paper qualification, than certificate. You don't need a certificate. All you need to do is just to attempt formal education, and then the Constitution says you're qualified to go in and become the President of the Federal Republic
Because you
of
have
Nigeria.
attempted. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, just attempt. Just make attempt.
All
and
right.
that's fair enough.
Okay, gentlemen, let's move to the major issue for discussion today. We are looking at the law of guarantees. What is a guarantee? Who is a guarantor? A lot of times we buy KK and we get registered. We get a lawyer to write an agreement for us. And part of it is to get a guarantor who signs a column for guarantorship. We also have people apply for jobs in the bank. People apply for jobs everywhere, and they say they want somebody to sign as a guarantor. And your niece, nephew runs around. Can you sign this for me? Can you sign this for me? All these fried chicken restaurants that are popping up everywhere, they want people to sign as guarantors before they give jobs to these applicants. Now, but a lot of us that sign this document don't really understand that it's a difference between signing as a guarantor and signing as a letter of recommendation, issue a letter of recommendation, or any other letter for that matter. There is something stronger when a letter comes in or a document comes in from you to a would-be employer or an eventual employer, or in the case of a KK man, the owner of the KK, or in the case of a debtor who just takes a loan from the bank. Let's look at it. What's a guarantee?
Well,
I start with the community.
Let's make it very practical for people to understand. You made mention of KK, and all over this country, people do hire purchase. People give KK for others to ride for them.
Okay, meaning the tricycle, the commercial tricycle in Nigeria.
Okay, maybe in case there is a white man that is listening to us here, you know, on that. So we're talking about tricycle. Now, you buy it. You want to give it to someone to ride it for you or drive it for you. Is it driving? Is that a car?
It's a tricycle. So you ride.
Okay. Okay, so you want someone to ride it for you.
Or a bus, a mini bus is a drive.
Okay, let's use the mini bus. So you want someone to drive the minibus for you and then give you a certain amount of money, and at the end of the day, maybe the person takes it, you have an arrangement. And whatever your arrangement is, you need someone to guarantee that you can give this small vehicle, small minibus, to this person that has come out to, be driving it for you. And so someone signs and says, I hereby guarantee so. The implication of that is that should the keke driver fail, you automatically step into the shoes of the keke driver. Should the keke driver run away with this keke, you, the guarantor, you can be held liable.
You will be held.
You will be held liable. No, it depends on the owner of the keke. You may just give it to God.
No, but the contract stipulates that you will be held
You
liable.
certainly will be held liable if the owner of the keke is ready to go by the way of the law. And therefore, when you are called upon, you are to buy that keke and replace, because you had guaranteed on your own voluntarily and signed it and said, if this person runs away, I'm going to be held responsible. I'm ready to be held responsible. I'm going to buy the keke for you. I'm going to pay whatever outstanding, and so on and so forth. So,
okay.
signing any document as a guarantor simply means I am ready and willing to step into the shoes of this person. Should this person run away, should this person fail the terms of this contract,
all right,
I am ready to step in.
All right, let's get to Hannah. Hannah, before today, okay, let's not say before today. Ordinarily, as a regular interaction on regular basis that you interact with people and you hear people talk about guarantees, letters of guarantees, what usually comes to mind? What did you think it was about?
I used the first meaning of guarantee that I knew, which is giving an assurance that something will be done right. I just felt that as a guarantor, I am assuring you that this person will do whatever you have agreed with him to do. I felt that it was me saying this is an honest, dependable person. He will do what he has agreed to do with you. That was all I thought.
So your mind was like,
I never knew that.
You were like our president is always, I assure you.
I thought it
assure
was
you
just
that this person will do. All right, so I think that's a major thing a lot of Nigerians think guarantee is about, which is merely like a recommendation. I recommend this person to you. I've tried and tested the person. I think he's good enough. I'm comfortable with him. Now, there are other implications greater implication. Let's take, for instance, a banker. Now you are 23 years old and you want a job at the bank. You take the letter to your uncle who is 46 and he's a bubbling legal practitioner and he signs the dotted lines. 14 to 20 years down the line, you steal 100 million naira from the bank, then you're a bank manager. And you off Nigeria, you're in the UK. And they go into your records and they see a certain barrister, somebody, a Kemini maybe, had signed the dotted lines as a guarantor. And at this time, he's running a law firm and he's doing relatively well. And they slammed the document on him. Sometime in 1915, you had signed a letter of guarantee for a certain person. Now Awul is absconded. And now he's indebted to us to the tune of 150 million. Kindly make good your guarantee. And you're a lawyer, the first thing that comes to your mind is, I did not sign this. And they show you, and you recall that then you were just starting practice. And that man was your cousin, came from the village, and you're so excited he has a job. And you signed. Now he's disappeared. In fact, after 5 years, you weren't in talking terms again because one of your other uncles contested election and you're on the other side of the divide. So you weren't very close to him, but you had forgotten that you had signed him on as a guarantor. Now, several years down the line, he has committed an offense and you are being asked to come and make good your guarantee. I think that's the picture. What kind of defense would you have?
Well, if truly you signed, I take it to you now, I put it to you now, if truly you signed, because I don't know why you put those things to me.
So you're
Okay,
afraid of
somebody signed. Okay, I signed.
Okay,
Since you have refused
Anna
to
signed.
take
No, let it
them.
be Tony.
So
So
let's
if
continue.
Tony signed, which is not a bad thing to sign for someone. You know, someone has come to you, you know the person, and you are happy that the person has a job. You put some questions to the person and also tell the person the implication of what he's bringing for you to sign. And then the person gives you the assurance that he's going to be of good behavior. For me, it's not a bad thing.
And for 20 years he was.
For 20 years he was, for
One
more
good
years he
day.
should continue to be. You know, the implication in law is that having guaranteed that this person will be of good behavior, that this person is not going to run away with the bank's money, and a lot of other things in small character and so on. Having appended your signature to it, it's a contract binding on you, and you are expected to indemnify the bank for what this gentleman has unfortunately done. And therefore, depending on how the bank wants to take the money from you, they want to come and sell your law office and get the money, so be it. If they want to sell your vehicle and get the money, or if they want to go get judgment and then garnish your account, you know, as a legal practitioner or as any other person, then they can do it.
So I think what you're trying to say is all the bank needs to do is to go to court for a declaration.
As simple as that. The bank
that
does
you are
not even
indebted
need
to them by the virtue of this contract of
Yes.
guarantee.
As a matter of fact, the bank does not even need to sue the person that has absconded.
Okay.
They can come straight to you. That is, they can be something bank versus Anthony book, barrister at law. And then in the story, as told in the statement of claim, it will show clearly how you came into the picture. And then the court is asked to make an order for you to...
Directing you.
Yes, to honor
to pay
the
over
guarantee.
the sum of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you see, at the time when the contract of guarantee is being signed, monies might not
be attached. There's some contract of guarantees that will say you'll be liable to the sum of, I'll be liable to the sum of maximum 100,000 depending on the work schedule. Yeah, the level of the
entry level of the staff.
Some organizations renew that guarantee funds every 2 years.
Having regards to your growth in the industry or the company. That when you started out, your basic salary was just 15,000 naira, and your sphere of work you won't steal more than 100,000. So the guarantor should be somebody can pay back to 100,000. But as you now move in responsibility to where you handle big money, they expect you to bring in a bigger guarantor who can cover that level of work. So some organizations do that. Now, but if you take it back to the more common one, that we hire purchase or loans.
Yeah.
Or
you
loans.
hear people come to me. I've had people.
Most of the
call me to
microfinance
ask
organizations
will give you loans.
And the only security they have is that a civil servant that still has at least
10 more years in the service
will guarantee the loan.
And when that happens, in a couple of
years, maybe 2-3
years, you are not able to pay back. They
go straight and start deducting money from
your salary. They don't take you to court. They
seize your salary, and people have been asking that question: is it legal?
So what's our answer?
I now understand that when you sign that guarantee form, you are entering into a contract.
It's a contract.
With the creditor. You're entering into a contract to take on the responsibility of the original debtor.
Yes.
Where the debtor defaults, which is something I didn't know. I have to confess.
Yeah, it's like
I thought it was just me giving you an assurance that this person will pay back your.
Yeah, speaking good English
for me. Where I am, I've assured you that this person will. I never knew that I am entering into a contract.
You're entering into a contract. It's like a tripartite.
The basic thing here is this: there are 3 parties. It's a 3-party contract. The principal, who is the main person that has taken the loan. The debtor. The debtor is the principal. The creditor is the guarantor.
You know, the creditor, the debtor, the guarantor.
The debtor is the principal party. The guarantor is just saying, okay, where this man fell, I will do my best to step into his shoe. And based on that assurance and that commitment, simply give him what he wants. Whatever amount that he wants, give it to him. Now, the creditor now being the bank or
whoever is giving out the
loan
or the person that's selling out the
does not require the debtor now to recover his money. Where his money is not paid, it comes straight to you. That loan you guaranteed that man has not been paid. Can you please pay? Now, the only reason you might want the debtor to come into the picture would be to know the extent at which he had paid his commitment. The loan could have been 10 million. They say, okay, he has paid up to 3 million. So you have to pay the 7. And the guy comes in to say, no, I have paid 6 and brings proof of 6. So the extent of your liability is equal to the extent of his liability, 100%.
Yeah, you know, it's like offering to die for another person.
Now you are Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ and so on. So we'll go on a break, right?
Yeah, let's go on a break. When we come back on the other side of the show, we'll open the phone lines for our listeners to call in and ask questions and make contributions as the show continues. We go on a break now.
One allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police.
No, my Lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My Lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My Lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my Lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord. These cases are in court, my Lord. I'm just reminding your Lordship.
My Lord, sorry, my Lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Kong Ukpabio.
Iyayo.
Ukpabio.
Iyayo.
Ukpabio.
Iyayo.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police.
No, my Lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My Lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
he linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the matters counsel is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but you can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court.
Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
All right, welcome back to Legally Speaking. I'm still with Kevin and Hannah SM. My name is Tony Ebuk. Now you can join the conversation. The numbers to call will be 090-222-31011, 081-762-48565 is the alternative number. We are currently discussing on the issues of guaranteeship and guarantorship. So, Ekemini, where did we let it off? Where were we as at the last time we went off? Now,
anyway, I am thinking about that one you talked about, employment.
Okay.
When you're guaranteeing, you become a guarantor for an applicant that's looking for employment. I'm wondering.
All right, let's take the call. Hello. All right, go on.
This is a contract that's supposed to stipulate clearly the terms of the agreement.
Hello. Sorry, we have a call.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, Tunituk. I'm calling from Iduran.
Mr. Tunituk, you're welcome to the show.
Yeah, I am very, very interested in this particular topic because a lot of parents will begin to sign dotted lines for people, somebody that you've trusted so much. I want to find out if at the end of it all the person has absconded with the money and you are held responsible. What if you cannot provide this money? Like you quoted about 100 million naira that you cannot afford. What would be the end of it?
All right.
I want to also find out from you the difference between warrantor, and guarantor.
Okay.
Are they the same thing? Thank you very much for having me.
All right. I think I'll take that. Now, the first line of questions says, what if the person absconded? Now, everybody has a risk that is taking. The employer who took you for guarantorship, without verifying if you had the capacity to guarantee, that's his risk. You can sell everything you have and it doesn't still cover up, but that's as much as he can go. He can't go beyond that. All right. With respect to warrantyship and guarantor, a warranty is a written documentation, especially with respect to products and services. The warranty says where this product does not work, you can bring it back for replacement or you get your money back. Warranty works most especially on products. So guarantor, guarantyship.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
I'm Daniel Otoyo in a beautiful village of Elanway, here in Akoko.
Welcome, sir. Daniel Otoyo.
I have a question because today's program is very interesting to me. Okay, let's say 10 years ago, I was not blind because now present I'm blind.
Okay.
That time I did some business. Maybe I can afford, let's say, 100 to 200,000 in a year. I'm just using an example.
Okay.
But now I'm blind, and my value at this time is not as it was.
Okay.
Now, if unfortunately I guarantee a person on such 100 million, knowing full well that in my capacity as a parent, if this person run away with anything, I can be able to pay maybe in 2 or 3 or 5 years or whatever. But now I'm blind. I do not have any, do not do anything. If such case happen now, what can the bank do to me? Or that is what I want to do.
All right, again.
Okay, that's a very novel angle that is coming from, but it's interesting. Nothing stops someone from writing to the bank to withdraw your guaranteeship. Like the story you have just told, as at the time you guaranteed this person for so purpose, you were very fit, but unfortunately you lose your sight. You can get to a lawyer and tell a lawyer to write to the bank for you to withdraw your guaranteeship because of this reason and that reason. And that the person you earlier guaranteed would be required to look for another guarantor, to guarantee him. So I think that's the best way to go in this circumstance.
Can I want something?
No, I don't want
All right, guaranteeship at that level is like a shortship in the police station. That's the one we are more familiar with. Hello, you're welcome to Legally Speaking. Go on.
Hello?
Yes, go on. We are listening to you.
Hello?
We are listening to you. Go on.
Hello?
All right, I think that caller is not connecting properly. Maybe you'll have to check your network. So it's like a shortship at the police station. If for any reason you are not sure that the person is shorted will be appearing in court or attending to the police station, you can go back to the police and say, well, I did shorty this man. Whereas as it stands, I'm traveling out of the country. I cannot guarantee that he'll be attending court. Can you replace me with another person? You can go with the replacements, and the court will take it, and the police will take it. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening. God bless you people.
Thank you, sir.
This Friday, calling on a Friday from Ibionibum.
Friday from Ibionibum. Yes, welcome to the show, Friday.
Thank you. The barrister, please, for God's sake, I want to ask a question so that I will be understand. Because there's something that bothers me concerning law. Barristers, I want you to explain the meaning of status quo to me and to maybe all the listeners.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Friday. Status quo. You want to do, Hannah? Okay, say barristers. Okay, let's do it.
It seems to me that it's calling from a particular place. But that's
status quo is simply the position as it is, as it was.
Yeah.
If they say status quo ante, meaning status quo before, everything returns to normal. I was having a relationship with a bank. I was a banker. I was a customer. He was a banker. I used to pay 10 million naira every month. He now comes in and jacks it up. Maybe I'm repaying a loan. He says I missed a particular amount, so I should be paying 20, and I can't pay 20. And I go to the court. The court says everything returns to status quo ante. It means go back to that position where you were before the hostility began. Continue paying your 10 million every month whilst we see how to resolve this issue. If at the end of the day, court finds out that you ought to be paying 20 million, then you start to pay 20. But before we resolve that, status quo before the hostility is that I was paying 10 million in repayment of my debt. So you go there before we check the court. So on Friday, that's their status quo.
So
yes.
Status quo simply means,
the
way things were.
Let it remain. And you see, status quo can change from time to time depending on the language of the court.
Hello, that's a caller back.
Hello.
You're welcome to the show. We are listening to you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Go on.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Steve. I'm calling.
Yes, tell us your name and where you're.
Stella, we don't seem to be hearing you properly.
Maybe she can call back.
I know you are Stella. Call back. You still have time.
Use another line.
Use another line. The numbers to call is 090-222-31011. Now, if you're having a problem with that line, you can call the alternative number, which is 081-762-48565. So you either call the first number, which is 090-222-31011, or the alternative number. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, my brother. Yes, my name is Shamonilo. I want to ask something.
Please, where are you calling from?
About this. Is that?
Oma, where are you calling from?
Anambra.
Anambra. Okay, go on, sir. Speak out, please.
But I'm quite woman too.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I want to ask, for example, now I sign as a guarantor to somebody, but unfortunately, maybe for the process of this work, then something happened to that the person that I signed guarantor to.
Okay.
Accident, in terms of accident.
Okay.
Do I have any view? Because this thing happened to somebody that I just very close.
Don't worry. I get your question. It's an excellent question, sir.
At the end of it, the company itself, after they just take the guy to the hospital, that first thing, that first like the next thing, they just abandon the guy. After some, I think, either 3 months.
It's an excellent question.
After 3 months.
Yes. Let's answer the question because of time. Let's answer the question. It's an excellent question. Now, as a guarantor is only liable to the extent of the liability of the principal. That means if the principal, by an act of God, cannot enforce or cannot conclude that contract, the guarantor cannot be compelled to pay. Because he said, I assure you, if the company cannot sue a dead person, the company cannot also enforce that guarantee. Because his guaranteeship did not include his dying. He stopped at the point that he can do this business and will perform on the contract. So if by an act of God he doesn't exist again, there is no way you can exercise that right over a dead person and cross to me and say, you are still alive. Come and pay the money he was owing you. Or come and perform the work he was supposed to do. Because that has extinguished the liability, the debt of that person. Any other?
So that means that anything that, because I understand contracts can be
frustrated.
Go on. Yeah, it's called frustration.
So
that's
anything that frustrates the contract you have with the principal debtor, you can't. It means my contract is also frustrated.
Yes, if it is a natural causes. So
not because the person is drunk and cannot
yes,
go to work
yes.
again.
With all things being equal, we always say in economic ceteris paribus, all things being equal is expected to perform. And now all things are not equal. I cannot be expected to enforce the contract.
Yes.
Hello, you're out to legally speaking. Hello? All right.
Now, there is also the case of a keke man who takes the keke back to where he lives. And while asleep, the keke is stolen. There is no act of God there.
There is no act of God.
Yes, because it's second to be that he was careless about the...
He ought to have provided security for his
provided security
Hello?
and so on. So the
yes.
guarantor
Hello.
will be made to
yes,
pay.
you ought to legally speaking.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, my name is Pastor Fred. I'm calling from STVNg.
Pastor Friday from Tobago. Go on, sir.
Yeah, my own advice that whoever that want to guarantee should be able to ask for the clarity of what you are guaranteeing. That thing, when I was doing business, that thing has done a lot of harm to me.
Yeah.
And they have made me to decide not to guarantee anybody again.
Yeah.
Because if you're guaranteeing anybody, you don't know the true detail. I think you're also putting yourself into danger.
Yes, exactly.
And the person you are guaranteeing, the human being can change at any given time. But you know him today. When you get that job, you don't know what he's going to turn into.
Exactly.
So you must explain and understand the stand
nature
of that
guarantee.
Contract that one is going into it, and make a decision by yourself whether you'll be able to pay to have the person run away with the money, or eat the money, or whatever damage that might cause. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Friday. Because that's exactly what Hannah was saying the other time. That you have to be sure what you're doing.
You really need to be sure. And you know, the banks normally spell it out and say, if you are not sure, do not guarantee. If you are not sure of this person, don't sign his bank opening form and all that.
Yes.
It's the same thing here. You know, like the pastor just said, you can't read the mind of man. At the point of looking for the employment, he's just looking for 20,000 naira salary. He gets into the bulk room, he's counting money, he sees a lot of money. He begins to navigate his way through banking, and he now begins to think big and so on. And therefore, it could end up putting you in trouble. So it is good to guarantee so that someone can have a means of livelihood. At the same time, there is need to be circumspect about it. You know.
It just goes down to what I said when we started. I thought guaranteeing is just saying that this person is of good behavior. But now that we understand that you are entering into a contract to take on the liability of this person where the person fails. So what you need to do now is go in with open eyes, like the pastor said.
Yeah.
Read the contract. Actually read the paper that's presented before you to see what the conditions are, because you are entering into a contract.
Yeah. All right.
Become a member, you
all
become
right.
a party to
Hello.
the contract.
Hello, good evening to everyone in the studio.
Good evening, sir.
I'm Emmanuel calling from here.
Madam calling from you. Go on, sir.
Please, I want to know, assuming I signed a guarantee for somebody at the time I trusted that person very well, and in the course of time, I find some strange behavior in the person, can I withdraw guarantee for the person?
Exactly.
Certainly, you can withdraw at any time.
You can withdraw at any time.
If you feel that the person, this is not a person that you knew at the time of the signing of the letter of guarantee, you can write and withdraw and say you can't vouch for him anymore.
And if it's a workplace, they'll ask him to provide an guarantee.
Because it's supposed to be voluntary, it's not supposed to be compulsory. So when you say you are no more doing the guaranteeship, no one compels you to do it. And it's better to do that as soon as you sense any danger.
Hello.
You know.
John from Cross River.
All right, sir.
Assuming you are a guarantor by act of God, and you are aware of his business that he's doing. So, in case you cannot fulfill the obligation of the contract, can you be held responsible as a guarantor?
If he doesn't want, the last question, the last line of the question.
Eh?
The last line of your question, he said by an act of God, he can.
As a guarantor.
Okay.
Assuming the beneficiary by act of God, something happened, not a natural cause.
Like what?
And you are aware of what he's doing, the business he's doing, and the money he collected for that loan, still run this thing. Can you be held responsible to pay the loan?
Well, that depends on what you call an act of God. The fact that his wife died and he had to bury his wife, so he spent so much money, can be called an act of God. But the bank doesn't understand that.
Even the law doesn't.
The law does not recognize that. Yeah. So this act of God you're talking about could be either his business got, like this market, the fire got at the business, but yet the bank would have said you needed to insure the business. So there are several things you must consider when you are talking about an act of God. An act of God is not, it might be limited to you dying. Okay, person has died.
No, there are some other instances, like COVID.
COVID was an act of God, but yet COVID, what would happen in COVID is that you be given an extension to restart the business. You might renegotiate the loan.
Yes.
Hello, this is Legally Speaking.
Hello.
Yes, you're welcome to the show.
I'm only going to call you back.
Okay.
The person is still alive.
Okay.
The person survived the gunshot.
Okay.
So that's what I'm trying.
Yes, if the person survived the gunshot, what is expected of the person, like we just saying now, is to go back and renegotiate. No, there are certain categories of indebtedness that can be renegotiated, especially if it's a private loan between two private parties. Now, when it's a public loan, like a bank, all right, or like a government loan, it might be a bit precarious. You might be given a moratorium. Okay, you've survived the gunshot. What can we do to ensure that you pay back this money? You say, okay, give me another 10 months or so. Let me recover fully and I start business again. And for that period, stop the loan from running or the interest from running, if it was a loan. All right? So that's good enough.
It can be done even in...
Hello, this is Legally Speaking. Hello? All right. Please, when you call, try to be audible so we can hear you. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, we are hearing you. Can you tell us your name and where you're calling from? Good evening. Go on. All right. Please, if you have problems with one line, maybe network issues, call the other line. All right.
So, yeah, the problem people make is you run into trouble. You are not able to meet the agreed terms anymore, and you keep it to yourself. If you have been very, faithful to the terms of the transaction for like some time, and all of a sudden something happens, you need to go back, renegotiate your way out of it, instead of putting yourself in trouble and also putting the guarantor, the man that stood in for you for the right reason, into trouble. Once there is an act of God, once there is an accident, there is need to consider going back to renegotiate the terms of the contract.
All right, let's take the last call. Hello.
Good evening.
Good
evening, the Leonard gentleman in the studio.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, this is Mr. Long.
Okay. Mr. Long, go on, sir.
Okay, please. This issue is just like that of shortage.
Yes.
Yes, there was an agreement I entered into. I shorted someone, but what happened was that up till now the person has not redeemed what he pledged that he will pay back to the person he collected a particular money from. So the person is now, I mean the person is owing.
Yes.
Is now
the creditor.
telling me to pay back the money.
That's how it works.
So I was thinking like this, maybe whether I should go back to where I made the shortage and tell them that I want to
No,
take back my
that's too late in the day. That's too late in the day to do that. The horses have already left the bag.
It's already incurred the liability. The liability is now his.
If it was when he was paying regularly, then you can do that. But now you can't do that.
This is an afterthought.
It's an afterthought.
To run away from liability, so the law won't allow you run.
All right. So one other thing I need to bring to the burner, I know we are running out of time, is the fact that a guarantor and the contract of guaranteeship is purely civil. It has no criminal connotation. I hear policemen go to pick up guarantors on civil transactions. You arrest them, put them in custody. It is totally illegal. If anybody or any policeman does that to you, approach the court to enforce your fundamental right. Because the law of guaranteeship and the contract is civil in nature. That you are owing money does not mean it was obtained under false pretenses. And even if it was obtained under false pretenses, you don't have any liability because you were also deceived into guaranteeing. So you are equally a victim. All right? It's wrong for people to report or take guarantors to the police station and say he guaranteed a loan and now the person absconded after deceiving me. So because of that, he should be made to pay. So let's have that.
Is it that policemen don't know this?
Hannah, is it that policemen don't know this?
I'm not a police person, so I don't know if they know or not.
All right. So that's that. I'm sure a lot of policemen know this and they don't just doing the right thing. So
which is wrong.
From now on, I think people are enlightened enough to know that all times when you go to the policeman, you don't confront him, but you make him know that you know some things that are right to be done. And if he fails to align to the rightness of the things, then you approach the police. Well, there's several things. There are still several things we would wish to talk about on this contract. We'll do a part two someday, but not tomorrow. I have been with Ekemini. Ekemini, thank you very much for always coming around. Hannah Isen has also